To start this assessment, I cleansed the skin and make sure it's clear of any oils, and I applied a nude eye shimmer across the eye and with defined eyebrows just to help it stand out in the photography process. And these are my prosthetics from the flat mould mixed with 40% Detna to create a more skin-like consistency. This piece is a pre-coloured piece made with just equal parts of silicone, as it's very tough, but it acted as a good base for colouring practice. So now I'm going to apply the flat mould silicone pieces before colouring using Snappy G and saturated cotton buds. I apply the adhesive in the centre of the prosthetic and wait for it to go tacky before sticking it onto the face. I then use the cotton buds again to secure the edges. I make sure my model looks up in this process just to avoid getting any adhesive in her lashes, although I do ask her to close her eyes once the edges are being dissolved, as acetone is very strong. I use super baldies for the edges on this to help it settle on the skin better when it's being coloured with alcohol paints. So I secure all the edges, and now I'm going in with the acetone and cotton buds once again. So this will just dissolve the edges and remove the flashing, ready for it to be coloured. After this has been done, I will use a mix of Ultimate Effects palettes and Skin Illustrator to create layers of colouring with the alcohol paints. This will be done with a skin tone base just to blend it into the skin, and then I'll start to add the redness and capillaries that would be in a normal skin tone, as well as mixing a blue, purple and skin colour mix to add into the inner corner of the eyes to get the feel of it being exhausted and someone being quite tired rather than it being like a bruised eye. So with the mouthpieces, I'm using exactly the same method, starting with the middle section of the silicone and working my way out. As I'm putting that onto the skin, I'm just stretching out the edges as well, just to avoid any air bubbles, and pressing it down to keep it secure. In this, the top lip has already been applied. I was very careful with the application as it is close to the sensitive areas of the face, of the eyes and the mouth. I took safety precautions and made sure nothing got in the model's eyes or mouth. If this was to happen, then I would immediately rinse the eyes out to keep the irritation at bay. And this is the first layer of colouring on the eye bags using these two Skin Illustrator colours. So this is a good base just to blend it into the skin once the foundation is applied. And these are the colouring of the full prosthetics, including layers of pinks, beiges, the blues that I mentioned previously, and it's been blended out with a sponge saturated with a little bit of alcohol just to create a more uneven effect for a more realistic skin tone. Here I am applying a dark brown powder just to contour the face and warm the edges. This will also help define it in the photography process, as the lights do wash out colours and the makeup that's been applied. Next I am using the airbrush to create some bruised fingers and hands. So this is with a purple, yellow and brown. This is to create the illusion that they have bruised hands from typing, as I'll also have a laptop prop in the studio. I also have a final image of this as well. And next, after my image has been taken, I'm removing my prosthetic, and this is with a cosmetic tonic. And this is an oil-based remover. It was recommended, as I usually use Bond Off, and I do find that leaves quite a residue. So to avoid that, I am using a Mold Life Wipe to remove any leftover adhesive once the prosthetics have been removed. I will use the same process, rolling it away from the skin with cotton buds for all three prosthetics, and then I will go over the face with a regular toner. These are my final images. I am very happy with the results, and I do hope you enjoyed watching the time-lapse video that I have created for you.